Hello and welcome to video related to calculate DAX function. In previous video, I have briefly explained you how the calculate function works and how the measure evaluation happens in the background with 4-step process. Now in this video, we will learn a little more about calculate syntax with a sample example. So let us quickly understand the syntax of this function and what argument it accepts. Now here on the screen, you can see the calculate syntax. The first argument here will accept any DAX expression and all other arguments are for filtering conditions to be checked. Here the first argument is mandatory and should always be mentioned. This can refer to your existing calculated measures from your data models, or you can simply write a new calculated measures in this first argument. This can be any mathematical operations which you want to perform on your given data sets. The final result from this calculate function will be based on what you specify in this first argument. Now imagine that you want to restrict results from this expression from first argument only for specific records. You can specify that using second argument and later on arguments as well. So this simply means that you want to filter out only the relevant records from your entire data and then execute your first expression. This is by simply adding or overriding the existing filter context which it will be getting from your visuals, slicers, filters and so on. The filtering conditions you can specify here should be simple or can refer to a DAX measure which will give you a table as an output. So to overcome these limitations, we will have to take help of some another DAX functions. We will see more about that in later part of the videos. So let us take a quick simple example of how to use this calculate DAX function. Now imagine that you have written a simple calculated measures to calculate the gross sales amount like this. Here you will be simply taking total of sales amount column from your sales table. After this, let us say you have created a matrix visual and you have put the product color column on row area and our calculated measures in the values area. So it is pretty obvious from these visuals that gross sales value is being computed for each of the color type. However, if I have to speak using DAX terminology, we have an initial filter context on product color and it is then used to filter out the relevant records and finally computing the sales amount for each of the cells of this matrix visual. Now later imagine that I have created a new calculated measures using calculate DAX function and specifying the product color only as a red in the filter argument of that calculate function. After I place this calculated measures in the above visuals, I will be getting this following result. Here you would note that for all the colors we are getting the same sales amount which is equal to the sales amount for red colored product. So now you have to recall the 4-step process which we have seen in previous video which DAX engine is performing in the background. So to get these results there will be a 4-step process which will be followed. The first will be the initial filter context will be taken from the visuals and it will be the product color for each of the cells. Now moving on to the second step, since we are using calculate functions, it will specify or will check whether any filter condition is specified in the calculate functions. In current case, you can see that we have specified product color as red only. So calculate will have an upper hand and previous filter context which have taken from the visuals will be ignored and red only will be considered. Then the third step will happen in the background which will extract only the relevant records for the red color and even for the other colors which are being specified here, it will be red color only in all of the cells. And finally, the gross sales amount is calculated and displayed in this visual. Hence, this is same across all the product colors and even in the totals row. So we are getting the number which is for sales amount for the red colored product. So this is like boss ignoring the individual choices and telling everyone to count only the red colored product balls. So everyone will have the same count of balls. Now instead of having a product color in the row areas, imagine that you have a product category. So each of the product category will have a different type of product colors. So for our first measure of gross total sales amount, the initial filter context will be product category. Now, however, for our second measure using calculate functions, there will be two filter contexts. The first one will be product category and second one will be product color. So this second measure will give a gross sales amount under each of the category, but only for the red colored products. So this is like boss is considering the individual choices, but he is also specifying some additional conditions while counting the balls. Also, since using calculate functions, we are not specifying the filter conditions on the same columns which are considered in our initial filter context of visuals. So here it has been product category as an initial filter context. If calculate function is specifying any filter conditions on that column, then it will have a upper hand and overriding effect. However, it is product color and it is getting added to the initial filter context. So this is happening for each of the cells in this particular visuals. I hope it is now clear to you how the calculate functions works. If it is not clear to you, then I would suggest you to look back for all of the previous videos and this video one more time. If you have any questions, just shoot out to me and I can clarify on that. It is very important that you understand these calculate functions before you move on in the further of learning your DAX. So in next video, we will be creating few more calculated measures directly inside the Power BI desktop and see how this calculate function really works. So that is it from my side guys. See you in next video.